Hello everyone. I am going to do this little chore today, and I thought I'd come on and explain to you why I'm going to do it, and give you an idea that might help you. You may have already thought of it. I use stencils. These are cardboard stencils. And the thing about these particular stencils are that they are coated with sort of a plastic coating. As you can see, they're nice and shiny. These actually come out of little books. And I have used them many times for many projects. Most of the time you can just take your a wet wipe or something, a paper towel, and just wipe them off a little bit, and they're fine and they last a long time as long as they have this plastic coating. But here recently I've gotten quite a few stencils that do not have a plastic coating. They're very they're just cardboard. They're just, and these are lightweight cardboard. This is not very heavy. Now these were Faber-Castell stencils that I actually got at Hobby Lobby on clearance. But I wanted to show you how you can extend the life of them. And it's something that you have to think about ahead of time so that you get it done before you start to use them. Because once they've gone into the paint, it's not quite as easy to do this process. The paint will help, but the paint builds up around the edges. The thing that we want to do is we want to coat them everywhere so that it just makes them a little more sturdy. And all I'm going to do is just coat them with Mod Podge. Now I use a mixture of Mod Podge and glue. I use Elmer's Glue All, which is a PVA type glue, and Mod Podge, and I mix about half and half, and I put a little water in it. It's not something I measure, I just put it together. And if you've ever used Mod Podge, you know that it just gives you sort of that little plasticky coating kind of on paper. So I'm just going to coat a bunch of these stencils with the Mod Podge. Now the thing is, you're going to want to coat both sides, and I'm not going to make you watch paint dry, so I am just going to set this aside. Now I had water in my brush. I think that that's not coated as well as I like. And I'm just going to lay this aside, and I'm going to lay it on some paper, Reynolds freezer wrap. I use this paper all the time. It's got a plastic coating on one side and a paper coating on the other side. And I reuse the same pieces over and over and over again. They're just laying on the floor. And I'm just going to do all of these right now before I use them. It will just make them a little sturdier, make them last a little longer, and make cleanup a little easier. Okay? Now, once I get them coated and they're dry, I will be back and show you how it helps to keep them clean. Okay, so as you remember, I have these very inexpensive cardboard stencils. What I have done is I have coated them with Mod Podge and glue. It's my mixture that I use all the time. And I put a layer of the Mod Podge mixture on each side of these. What it does is it creates more of a plasticky coating like some of the store-bought stencils that are coated. I don't know why they didn't coat these, but I have quite a few cardboard stencils that I have done this to in the past. This really, really helps to keep them. You can't wash them the way you can a plastic stencil, but it does keep them nicer. I thought I would show you just how I take care of them then. Let's go for this one. I happen to like this numbers one. I was real pleased to get it. And since I do a lot of mixed media, I might use paint. Today I'm going to use ink just because it's sitting here. Using a sponge and doing it with ink is one of the things I do. Partially because it's simple, it's easy. For a background. Okay, now I have this ink on my stencil, and it won't go away completely, but it will. Let me cover up the ink pad. It will come off quite well. What I usually do is paint, ink, whatever, I just try to wipe it off. And I don't worry terribly. I just take off parts of it. I probably would have left it from right here, but if you want to get it a little cleaner, you can. Now see that it's never going to go away completely, but it will clean up. Where beforehand, there's no way you would have gotten that off of there. And the only real reason I clean them is so that it doesn't end up in the next thing. So guys, that is the way that I extend the life of these cardboard stencils by Mod Podging them, just to create sort of a plastic layer on the surface. I hope this was a good tip for y'all. I hope that, you know, it's, like I said, it could easily be something you've already thought about, so you didn't really need me to tell you about it, but that's just something I do. Okay, guys, let me read you a quote. I forget sometimes to read my quotes, so let me read you a quote from our 1001 Ways to Creativity. Let's see here. Come on, where's my page? The day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. Anise Nin. Anise Nin. Okay, guys, go have fun. Make some art. Bye-bye.